Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and we've been doing it. We did it all week now. We're commuting in the E46 M3, and as you can see, this week it's gotten quite colder. So we're only about 40 degrees today, and I think the week started out probably like 65, something like that. So it's gotten colder and colder each week. So what did I learn about daily driving the E46 M3? Does it make a good daily driver? And well, the short answer is yes. Now, you do have to make some compromises. Well, let me say first, this has probably been the most fun week I've ever had driving to work. So it's a whole new visceral experience using this car. When I go back in the Audi S8, I realize how electric and uncommunicative the steering is. So having hydraulic steering is a treat. And this car is fun even sitting in traffic. Now, to be fair, I'm trying to take longer ways to work so I can enjoy the car a little more, so I don't have to sit in bumper-to-bumper highway traffic with red lights, because obviously this is an E46 M3. Can you daily drive this car? Absolutely. Now, there are some downsides, which I'll get to later in the video, but let's start out positive. Let's start out with the plus sides. And guys, remember to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That'll really help me out. You're going to see a ton of videos on the highway exit ramp. Hold on. And this is why rear-wheel drive stick-shift hydraulic steering is so much fun, these highway exit ramps. Even though we're going to accelerate onto the highway, and the sun's going to be in my eyes in a second. All right. So now at a 0 to 60 time of about 4.8 seconds. Realistically, you have plenty of passing power, I found. So I can get around people in the going slow in the left lane, no issues. Most people are not taking sports cars to work, even if they own a sports car. So I'm passing Buicks, Jeep Patriots, Hyundai Sonatas, Ford Explorers. So really, this car is still quicker than most of the cars that you'll see on the road. It's very comfortable going 80 miles an hour if you have a highway commute. Just checking Waze, make sure there's no police. But it really is a blast to drive. My commute to work has never been better. And as long as there's no salt on the road, you know, unfortunately, well, it's fall now, but winter's coming up. I don't know how much I'll drive it in the winter. I'll definitely try to take it out as long as there's no salt on the road. But in the fall, I'll definitely take it to work if I know I'm going to an appointment, maybe where there's some nice driving roads. If I'm just sitting in the office and I'm going to have bumper to bumper there and bumper to bumper back, then I'm better off just taking the Audi. It's got a torque converter automatic. I'd rather keep the E46 M3 for special occasions. So one downside of daily driving it, some of the specialness could wear off if you're sitting in traffic with it, going to the supermarket, going out to get milk, going to the gym, whatever you do. It might not be as exciting. I try to leave early so I can take the long way and get some good driving roads. Now, I know that's not always possible. You're going to have to go do other downsides. You're going to have to do without a lot of modern conveniences. You're not going to have a backup camera if you need that. Radar detector there. You're not going to have, well, you could get navigation, but you don't want navigation because it's horrible. So you're not going to get Apple CarPlay. You're not going to have a backup camera. You're not going to have top safety standards either if you ever got into an accident. So this car, the last model year was made here in the United States, was 2006. 2006, beyond 2006, cars had to adhere to higher crash standards. So the E92, E90 M3s meet that. They came out here in model year 2008. This car doesn't. So you might want to have a safer car if you feel you're going to get into an accident. But could you use this as a daily driver? Absolutely. And again, this has been the best week of commuting I ever had in my life. So I love the E46 M3. I love the rear drive. I love how you can get a little bit of an oversteer on some of these highway entrance and exit ramps. Downsides are going to be running costs. If you start putting, you know, my car has 90,000 miles on it, and it's an 03, so it's a 17-year-old car because model year 2020 is out already. You know, you're going to have a lot more expenses running this car if you start putting 15,000 miles a year on it. You're going to have tires and brakes, which aren't cheap, and you're going to have to really upkeep with the maintenance, as opposed to if you only drive this car 2,000 miles a year. So it's going to be expensive to run compared to, say, a new car with a warranty. My Audi S8, I've driven probably about 20,000 miles already, and literally it cost me a bunch of oil changes and a set of tires. And the only reason I went through a set of tires so quick is I had 2 flat ones from potholes. So that's another thing you got to realize if you live in a place like I do in the winter that has potholes. Do you really want this car out in salt? Do you really want this car when there are potholes on the road? So fall is probably the best season for us for the potholes, since they don't seem to fill them to the spring or the summer. So fall, we're pretty good. Now that we're getting freezing temperatures at night, the potholes are just around the corner. But as far as the ride goes, and again, this doesn't have an adjustable suspension, the ride is really good. You know, it's I'm sure it's definitely stiffer than my Audi S8, but I wouldn't call this a stiff ride by any means. But try before you buy. I'm used to stiff cars. I had a Lotus Exige S. The McLaren is pretty stiff. The M2, M3s. So to me, this is not a stiff car. Let me just turn this. But you know, it always depends on what you're coming from. Let's see if we can get some light on my face here. But I'm telling you, this has been the best week of commuting I ever had. So can you daily drive a E46 M3? Absolutely. It's going to be a blast to do it. It's going to, unfortunately, the downside is going to cost you more to run, and you're going to give up a lot of modern conveniences that you're probably used to by now. So it depends. If you have a new car right now and you're thinking of selling it because it's not so versatile, you want to go an E46 M3, that's going to be a whole different experience. It'll be great, just to drive for fun and on the weekends. But on a daily driver, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. If you're used to driving older cars like I am, it's no big deal to daily drive an E46 M3. I'm going to have to put the thing down here. It's not a big deal to drive an E46 M3 because I'm just used to daily driving older cars. All right, guys, so that's the gist of it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave your comments below. Would you daily drive an E46 M3? Maybe you have one and you already do. Maybe it's just a weekend car for you and you want to keep it so it's a special event every time you drive the car. A lot of times, if you drive a car that's really special and you daily drive it, the specialness may wear off because you're doing mundane things with it. But, let me see, I'm just trying to get some light so you can see me. But I think you can't go wrong either way. I'm going to occasionally daily drive this car just because it's so much fun and I waited so long to get another one. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time.